Recording. Alright, so today we went on the Rio Particle show to do the All-Star Kickball list. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, so we weren't able to cover everything that we needed to cover. So I wanted to go ahead and go back and let folks know what the list was. And what we did was we got some nominations, and then through research and just knowing everybody, and there's a comprehensive list over the last couple of seasons and who's playing now, who's going to play in the future. So let's start right away at the top of the list. We had each category has three subsections. We have first team, second team, and honorable mention. So our first category was Best Offensive Team. So first team awards went to Kicking and Screaming, obviously. They scored, this is them, they scored 55 runs this past season. Double what the next team close to them scored. Almost double. The Monkeys had 30 runs through that season, this past season. So obviously you guys know them. They are very consistent. And that's what it comes down to. They execute, they make it look easy. Their small ball works just about every time. And then when you see them play small ball against a team that's a new team or an unsuspecting team, they dominate them. So it's a no-brainer to give them best offensive team. Second pick was Kicks, which was more of a controversial pick, I think. Their numbers were okay. They had 24 runs this past season, which isn't bad. It was average. There was about 6-7 other teams that also did about 20-something runs. So it was average, but I think, for them, they executed in the postseason, and that's what mattered. Their lineup is incredibly good. I mean, those kids, Mikey, Raul, Joe, Angel, all these guys can kick, and when you trying to pitch to that lineup or defend against that lineup, any of those guys can go off at any given moment. So we went ahead and we gave them second team best offensive award. And then our honorable mention was the Drunken Monkeys. They came in next with 30 runs this past season. They struggled in the beginning of the season. They really didn't turn on until about week 5. They started putting some runs up, and then they also started to die off near the postseason, which was always their biggest crutch is not consistent offense. Their defense pretty much held them, but they were still able to score 30 runs. But like we know, the Monkeys are no more, and we're moving on from that. Oh, I didn't even throw up the picture of Kicks. I had a picture of Kicks and I didn't throw it up. There's Kicks with all the boys, all the young guys up there. I didn't throw them up there. I should have. My bad. Just trying to breeze through the list so it doesn't get too long. Alright. So then, moving right along, we had Best Defensive Team, which again, you're going to see a theme here. Best Defensive Team went to Kicking and Screaming. Obviously, they didn't allow a single run during the postseason. During the regular season, and that hasn't been done, ever, to my recollection. How you say it? Oh well, I stepped all over that. Doesn't matter. But yeah, their defense is solid. Pitching is good. And considering they didn't allow a single run in, and they didn't even have their best defensive player, which is probably Marco at catcher. They didn't have him, and they still were able to not let in a single run. But of course, come postseason, that didn't help them much, as they fell to Kicks, and the rest is history. But they still get Best Defensive Team. And then, of course, on top of that, you have another one. Kicks got the second team Best Defensive Award. that is probably going to be their biggest achievement, was winning that championship game with 9 folks. This is your championship picture right here. 3, 1, 2. Let me make sure. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Good. I don't want to be called a liar. There's 9 folks. They were able to hold KNS. They got it done with 9 folks. It hasn't been done since the Monkeys. So, I mean, that's an achievement enough to earn Best Defensive Team, Second Team for Kicks. Then the next goes to I'd Hit It. They get an honorable mention here. They did pretty good. I think they allowed 4 runs during the postseason. A lot of that obviously has to do with their pitcher Lucas gets it done, makes plays, but at the same time, Lucas giveth and Lucas taketh away. So it's a double-edged sword. But I mean, hey, the numbers speak for themselves. They did good. They could use some upgrades, but they deserve at least an honorable mention for defensive team. Alright. Where is Lucas here? Actually, I had a picture of Lucas here somewhere. I don't have an I'd Hit It picture, but I have a Lucas picture, so that'll have to do for now. And moving right along. Best offensive male, first team. I don't think a lot of people know him, but Albert Villegas, I think one of the more clutch players out here. Shown in this picture, he's the second gentleman from the left of the picture, standing there right next to Marco. If you guys know who Marco is, he goes out of town. He plays here. I've seen him kick, and he executes. He gets it done when his team needs him to score a run. Bring people home to kick.